Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and this video is going to be showing you how to do your solo GR20 with the Necromancer in Season 15. So let's get into it. Alrighty, first off, I've basically done every class. There might be like one I haven't done yet. Even if I haven't made a video for it, most of them I've tested and done. Necromancer is the toughest. It was the toughest for me to get to a point where I could actually do this. And it's also tough to play. It's risky, and you don't do a lot of damage. So don't feel bad if it takes you a couple tries to do it. And also, I don't recommend doing it how I am, which is like, I mean, obviously you're not going to do it like I am with being like extremely handicapped. Like, I'm not using anything in the cube. I'm only using rares for my gear. No legendary gems and like my jewelry. So what I'm going to recommend is you at least, when you get to level 70, just go kill Malthael on normal, and then you'll get the plan for Reaper's Wraps, and you can just craft one Reaper's Wraps and put it in the cube. And that alone will make it a lot easier for you, given this build and helping you recover essence. Also, not a bad idea is to upgrade two-handed sights to try and get a Rylina's Shadow Hook, which you're going to need anyway if you are playing Necro. You can also, if it's a bad one, you can throw that in the cube, and it'll make this GR really easy because it buffs your damage pretty significantly. So you can also clear like a level 1 Greater Rift, and at the end of it, you will get a Bane of the Powerful gem. That's always the first legendary gem you get. So then you can use that Bane of the Powerful after doing just one GR, and that'll also make it easier. So I would recommend taking, 20 something minutes to make it a little bit easier on yourself just by doing those small little things. And again, it won't be as hard for you as it was for me, because I do it like without a follower, without grabbing pylons, and not taking advantage of anything. So it'll be easier for you than it was for me in this video. But it is still hard compared to the other classes, so I just wanted to get that out of the way. And quickly to get into the build, I went with Siphon Blood, Purity of Essence, just to help me gather that essence back as much as I can. Command Skeleton's Dark Mending is really good for like helping you stay healed and stay to that full life. And my first ability is Leech Cursed Ground. This is the curse I went with because this build doesn't have a lot of toughness and it doesn't have a mobility ability. So I need to be kind of tanky, and I can throw this on the ground and it'll heal me based on how many mobs are in that area. Death Nova, Blood Nova. This is kind of a free slot where you can put whatever you want. I experimented with a bunch of different things. I found that this Death Nova doing 450 weapon damage as physical kind of worked well with my build, and it's kind of an essence dump for me. Like when I've got my mages up, I've got full health, I can see health globes in the map, I'll walk up to Elite and spam this and just do a bunch of extra damage. Devour Voracious, this is just going to reduce the essence cost, let us keep pumping out those mages, and Death Nova's a little bit easier. Our main damage dealer is probably going to be this one, which is Skeletal Mage, Gift of Death. I went with this because I'm assuming when you do this, you're really going to want Reaper's Wraps. It's only going to take you a couple minutes to get the plan, so I would suggest doing that. And if you have Reaper's Wraps, this is going to be amazing based on the passives I'm using with this. Skeletal Mage, Gift of Death, it's going to be physical damage, and a Skeletal Mage, I mean, you're constantly casting Skeletal Mages, so they're constantly expiring, which means there's constant corpses for you to devour, and based on this passive, Life from Death, consuming those corpses helps get you health globes. So it's going to make you more tanky, and it's going to get you a lot more essence if you get the Reaper's Wraps, which I didn't, and I was still able to do this, but it'll be that much easier for you if you do. Now, so yeah, the build, most of it, basically all of it is physical. Yeah, it's all physical. Everything here is physical. So if you have an amulet with physical damage or bracers with physical damage, that's going to be good for you on this. As far as passives, Final Service is a given because I play hardcore. My builds have to be hardcore friendly. And this isn't even a bad idea on softcore because there's not really an amazing passive to put in its place, and the build is kind of risky and tough to play as is, so you're welcome to switch this out if you want on softcore, but it's not bad to take this by any means. Spreading Malediction, I've constantly got this Cursed Ground curse down with mobs in it, so this is just going to help me get a little bit more damage. The build is lacking in damage just inherently because of the set bonuses for the Necro, so I had to go with this to get a little bit more damage. Life from Death, this build generates a lot of health globes, and you want that for the essence if you have the Reaper's Wraps, and you want it for the tankiness to help you survive, so I went with that. Extended Servitude, the mages die ridiculously fast, so I went with this just to get them an extra couple seconds to really help me along the way in this build. I didn't go over it earlier. I may have had a pop-up come up on the screen or something, but yeah, the Rathma set is the starter set this season. The 2 set bonus is your minions have a chance to reduce the cooldown of Army of the Dead by 1 second each time they deal damage. I don't even use Army of the Dead. I did theory craft it and try to play with it. I wasn't able to get a lot of value out of it, so I said screw it and swapped it out. You are welcome to try it out. What I would recommend if you do want to try out Army of the Dead is swapping out the Death Nova and replacing it with Army of the Dead. I think it would work. I just wasn't enjoying using it as much as the Death Nova, so you are welcome to try that. Also, our 4-piece bonus is going to be you gain 1% damage reduction for 15 seconds each time one of your minions deal damage, which stacks up to 50 times. This is actually a pretty good bonus. This build's kind of squishy the way it is, so this is going to help us stay alive and have a little bit more toughness. As you can see, there's really no damage buffs, which is why this build kind of struggles with clearing, using just rares, doing this GR20. And also a side note, if you want to test if your character is able to do the GR20, what you can do is make a game on Torment 4 that's pretty comparable to a GR20. So make a game on Torment 4 and just go to an area and see how well you're doing. See if you're able to kill an elite pack. That way you can test it without wasting a key in that GR20. So that's kind of a way you could test it and see if you're able to do it. So as far as the gear is concerned, I went with a 2-handed scythe. You are probably gonna want the 2-handed weapon. Now, obviously, in a perfect world, you would find like a legendary weapon that you can kind of build around, but my build needs to be friendly for everybody, and you can't count on finding legendary this early in the season. So not a lot to talk about as far as the gear. You're gonna have the 4-piece Rathma, and then I have a bunch of rares. And yeah, as far as play style, the toughest part for me was you have to kind of play more conservative. You don't have mobility, so you have to really pay attention to the affixes of the elites. Like if you run into a Waller Frozen or a Jailer Arcane, things that hinder your movement and then do a bunch of damage to you, you have to be careful of that. You don't want to be fighting things like that in a hallway. You kind of want to give yourself an open area to be able to maneuver around and get out of those situations, because you're not going to have a mobility and you are going to be a little bit squishy. It was also tough for me to remember to keep activating my command skeletons. I was finding that you have to do this about every 4 or 5 seconds, and that's going to be a big source of healing for you, and they do more damage and stuff, so try to remember to do that every 4 or 5 seconds. When they activate, they kind of sprint towards what you clicked on, and they turn like a reddish color with this. So try to keep an eye on your skeletons, and as soon as that reddish color wears off, cast it again, as long as you have the essence. Skeletal Mage is going to be something you're just spamming. You want to try to keep like 5 mages up at all times. You obviously want to spam Devour. You want to constantly be like, once a second or something, just hit that. That way you're constantly consuming those corpses and reducing your essence cost, so you can keep pumping out those mages and activating your command skeletons. The Death Nova, you're just going to kind of spam it when you can. As long as you have 5 mages and your command skeletons are up and you have enough essence, go ahead and spam this to do extra damage. We're just going to drop this curse around as many enemies as we can. It kind of goes on the ground like that. So let's say I'm in the middle of a big room. I'm going to put it in the middle, and then I'm going to kind of maneuver around it so that the mobs stay in there and buff my damage plus heal me. So I did bring a generator because it's kind of like, oh crap, I'm low on essence. I need to go ahead and scoop up some essence. If you have Reaper wraps, the generator probably isn't as much of a necessity, and you may even be able to replace it with something. So yeah, that kind of explains everything. Now I'm going to get into the part where I actually show myself doing the GR20 so that you'll have some sort of guide for reference. So let's just get into that part. Alrighty, let's see if we can get this GR20 done. We've got nothing that's going to help us in the cube. We've got only rares and the 4-piece set on, low level gems in our sockets. We've got no follower. Anything else? Oh yeah, no paragon. So, and I'm also going to try to do this without taking any pylons or anything. The Necromancer one is really hard, so this is going to be tough. We gotta kind of be a little careful because we don't have an escape ability. So we gotta kind of leave ourselves somewhere to go. And we gotta basically constantly spam these mages. And you gotta kind of watch your skeletons to make sure they're constantly engaged. They turn red like that and kind of attack. And then you want to try to stay at least 5 of your mages. And then remember, like, every 5 seconds to send your skeletons to attack. And then when you need to, use your generator to get essence back. Those skeletons are going to help you kind of stay alive. And you got to kind of take it slow. You don't want to get in a situation where you're going to get trapped and die. It's also important to use those skeletons because they help you heal. And then run around and get health globes. That's why I kind of wanted the build to have a lot of health globes, so I can run around and grab them as needed. And then I can do damage with my Nova when I get the time to. But yeah, the damage is kind of lacking. I tried a bunch of different builds, and this was actually the best I could kind of get it to go against elites and stuff. And the build doesn't really have a lot of toughness either. It should be a lot easier for you than it is for me, because like I say, I'm kind of handicapping myself. But the Necro one is probably the toughest one. And it's very busy. You're constantly having to spam the mages and then tell your skeletons to engage and drop your curse. So it's a very engaging playstyle. I'm trying to kind of get to the next elite pack here, but I don't want to get in a situation where there's too much stuff around me because I don't have an escape ability, so it can get hairy really fast if you're not careful. Especially with Frozen. So I gotta kind of take it easy here on this pack. And they fear me, so I'm constantly like running into frozen orbs. Possibly. I do have a cheat death ability, so if I did proc it, it wouldn't be the end of the world. I would have a chance to stabilize. But yeah, just kind of doing the busy work, trying to find that next elite pack. But This being a hallway type map, it's a lot tougher. You want a map that has open area. Especially with a build like this where you don't have an escape. If I fight against like a wall or frozen or something, it's going to be tough. When you have a bunch of mobs around you like this, it's good to use that Nova. It does a lot of damage. When there's that many things around you. But I kind of want to keep it at least like 5 ages, so I gotta constantly be spamming them. This is kind of bad luck to not get an elite for this long. And again, I don't want too much stuff behind me, because then if I do find an elite, it could be rough for me. Oh. Probably an elite here. Yeah. Trying to get into this open area here. I get teleported away from the lots of arcane to avoid. Gotta get some essence back. A lot of arcanes there to avoid. That was kind of a tough little fight there. At least we're staying ahead of the timer, and this isn't even a very good map either. Getting low on essence. Because I haven't been spamming mages enough. The mages leave behind a corpse, so they can help you generate those health globes. If you're using the Reaper wraps, that would help out a lot. You're not going to have near the essence troubles I'm having if you just take the 4 or 5 minutes to get Reaper wraps. And you want to kind of check the affixes as soon as you can. See what you're up against. Remember to keep doing your skeletons because they get you life back. Keep dropping that curse because that gets you life back. You don't want to really spam your Death Nova unless you can see some health globes to get to. Like right now I can see there's health globes, so I'm going to spam my Nova. And then I can grab health globes. Like right now I see health globes, so I'm going to spam it. Kind of drag them to this open area. If I can. They're not really doing a good job of following me, that elite. The bats are tough to kind of get where you want them to be. Because they just kind of float around and do their own thing. There we go. Get to this nice kind of open area where all the roads meet. Get all the mobs around me and start Novaing. Or casting Nova would be the proper way to say that. Finger's starting to hurt. I've probably hit the mage button 1,000 times already. I have to hit it even more than Devour. Ooh, that's not good. Waller. I want to make sure and fight this in the open room. You don't want to be fighting a wall or in a hallway like that. I'm going to try to bring it up here. There we go. That wasn't too painless. Arcane, Thunderstorm, Jailer. Jailer's bad. I'm getting kind of trapped here. I gotta take my time on this one. This one's gonna be rough. You get jailed right on that arcane. Try to get into a position. Alright, good. I got that one. That was a tough fight there. Ooh. Waller frozen. This is gonna be bad. I need to get this fight to a big room. And you really gotta kind of be careful. See, like, this is what happens. I can't even avoid that frozen. So I gotta really take my time on this one. There we go. At least I can avoid that one. Got him. We're so close to proccing the RG, we should be able to do it. Those damn minions are following me. We got RG. Perdition's not really a fun one. But we're doing okay damage-wise. I'm going to try to kind of keep my health up. I don't really want to spam my Nova because Perdition's a little dangerous. I got to stay about 20 yards away to stay away from that ability. And we're just going to kind of let our minions do some work here. There we go. We did it. So yeah, that's the Necromancer GR20 grind. Alrighty, that's going to do it for my video on clearing the GR20 in Season 15 as the Necro with the Rathma set, helping you get to that 6-piece as early as possible. If you have any questions, feel free to drop it down in the comments and I'll do my best to help you out. As always, thank you for watching. Have a great rest of your day. Good luck Season 15. Peace.